Hello, this is Shante with Brown Sugar Talks, coming to you with a second installment because I heard David Banner's talk today. So I just want to kind of talk about it or whatever, because I heard him say because he stated or whatever that he would prefer his friend was taking somebody, his friends had his kids in a white school or whatever, predominantly white school. And that they were just having trouble, which, y'all, I'm having the same problem. But this is the thing, it's I was working, right? So it's I have not thought about homeschool because I want my own school. But what I need for the school to be is a mixed school. And so I don't fully agree with just having a predominantly black school, just because the essence of us comes from different parts of the world. And just because, and what do we know black to be? And so, I don't know what actions or whatever he was referring to. I really wish he would explain the actions of what he was referring to, as far as what those things that people were diving into meant. And for me, I feel like some people dive into drugs, or some people dive into I don't know. It's that's something that seems like a white American thing to me. Drugs is just not one of my things where I'm just oh my God, that's what, no, it is not. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon with that. But I am jumping on the bandwagon of our culture. And so I had to think about what my culture was for me coming up in a black environment. But although my environment was black, it doesn't mean that my mom and my stepdad or my dad didn't have white friends or Hispanic friends or Indian friends or anything like that. So what happened to me is that not only was I fused in with my black culture, but I also learned something from other cultures too. It was just because in my black culture, when the other cultures were invited in, it was just seen more as a good thing. It wasn't ever a bad thing until my dad, he had a different way of it, because my dad does not like the white and the black woman together, whatever. I mean, the white man and the black woman. So for him, that was that's nothing that he wants to deal with or whatever. But for me, because I was influenced by so many different cultures, and it's brought me to even further love myself even more. And I was more shunned by black culture. So I guess for me, it's an opposite thing for me. And I feel like the school that I want to create I don't want that. I want them to be able to have all the freedoms that they can as far as that goes, because what happens in our black culture in the school is they basically start to treat it as if it's a prison. And that's why y'all, I'm for real, I had a freaking anxiety attack. That was the beginning of my anxiety. I was at a school 2015 Dallas, and it was they were just hollering at the kids, and it was jail, putting them on. I was no, I was stunned. That's when the anxiety attack started. So I had a anxiety attack most of 2015, November 2015, but that's when my mom passed away, and I was still in anxiety. That school had me under so much stress because I just didn't want to treat them like that. It was all, and then it was no help, and they put me under stress and all this different stuff. So I don't know if I believe in just a black school anymore, and if it is, I want it to be the correct leadership. I also want the leadership to be open to different things and divisive things, which they were, but it was just how they treated them in the beginning. I feel all you gotta do is really just create routines. You don't have to holler at anybody or anything. You don't have to talk about parents behind their back. You don't have to talk about how the kid not taking pills, all that different stuff. That's just not the culture that I want. I want, and if you do have to do that, we vent in a private place and then we let it go. Because sometimes, they carry it over to their child. So I was in this situation too with this woman, with this other teacher, with two teachers. One of them, she was just talking about the parent. I'm but we need her. The lady said she wants to be a lawyer, and then the woman comes back and talks about her. I don't know if I'm still on the same topic, but anyway, it's just I don't like environments where it's not free, it's not open to be anything else. And so that's my whole thing. I do think that we have a lot to learn from every culture. If you just start to individualize, because even with us learning other languages, there's other black cultures that speak those languages too. So even if it is French, German, Spanish, whatever, all of our cultures need to be able to learn it. I mean, Swahili is awesome or whatever. Whatever other languages are gorgeous to learn. But what I'm saying is like, we have to also think about, if we talking about teaching our students to create businesses, they need to be able to create an environment for themselves where it's open too. So it's like, if they do know Spanish, then the person is more likely to want to make a deal with them because they can speak Spanish and they understand Spanish. If they do know German, that person is more likely to get another contract. Also, if they speak other languages of other countries, they get to make more money. So it's like, you have to think about that first too. I always tell my students, you want to know 2 languages so you can use that later to get money. And I just learned that from other teachers that I had. They taught me the same thing in high school. Like, one of my teachers, she was like, oh yeah, this job she actually left teaching to become a translator. She was gonna make more money being a translator than she was teaching. At first she was doing both of them, and she got so busy, she was like, I'm leaving. I'm just going to go be a translator. So, I mean, that was like something that I always told my students, because that was something that they needed to know. But yeah, I would just prefer for the school to be a multicultural school, because they learn so much and the teachers start to learn too. And then you have to think about travel and different things like that as a teacher, and like, what do you want to put into the school for these people to be able to travel, for the students to be able to travel. So you want all those things encompassed in the curriculum, because if not, I mean, really, what are we really teaching them? And our culture is rich, right? We have a rich culture, but at the same time, everybody pretty much feels like they know it because it's a younger culture. So, and the other thing is that it's not always defined in the same way, because just because, like, let's say somebody's on like a level of, depending on whatever level of spirituality they're on a vegan, they're on a Dr. Sebi, type of level. This person may look down on somebody else for not being on that level. So it's like, do we teach all the kids to be a Dr. Sebi, or do we teach all the kids to be like, just be themselves or watch their diet or whatever? You see what I'm saying? So for me right now, it's like, I understand, but the environment I'm in right now, please. I mean, I try. It's like, but I don't have the means to get to the things I have to get to, then what do I do? So that's not a cultural thing. That's a health thing. So it's like, basically, you continuously teach health. You can teach them at the Dr. Sebi level, and then, is it Sebi? But then you also want them to be able to find a comfortable meaning for their lives or whatever. So, like, for me, I say, yeah, teach our culture, teach love, teach happiness, teach whatever. But at the same time, that's something that you're going to teach in your classroom setting every day. Like, it's like, that's something that like, when you enriching them, it's something that cannot be taken away. And you can't do that void of trying to overpower or not look or overlook other cultures too, because then you also want to teach them the same thing about the other culture, that their culture is enriched too. And even with teaching that, you start to learn that you yourself, because sometimes, like, I feel like if you just give it one topic, right, it'll just be held to that standard. And I don't know. It's like, it's something about that, because it's like, you're not learning everything that you can learn. You're not giving it. So we think about Malcolm X and we think about Marcus Garvey. So Marcus Garvey had this thing. It's like, his saying was that we have to teach void of other. What he's saying is like void of other cultures. Oh God, no, that's not what it meant to me. What it meant to me was, it's like, when I'm teaching, don't forget to recognize other cultures, because this is the thing for me. I believe in business, and I feel like if you don't know all those things about different places, you become confined to one thing. And you know who would tell you this? People from HBCUs. Like, sometimes it's like they end up in a situation where it's like they feel hankered down because they haven't had the experience that they do with white people. And so then they might have different experiences. So yes, like corporate America and people who graduate from HBCUs, they will always have like an experience of like, man, this shit fucked up. But black people who've already been around white people, they already know white people fucked up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you already know what the fuck Sarah finna do. She gonna try to write down everything that you say and write down everything that you do, and then she gonna bring it back up and put it on the write up. So you have to do the same thing that Sarah do. You gotta do the same fucking thing, because she gonna try to find every little whatever to try to pin you down. So what I'm saying is, like, you cannot teach a culture void. Like, yeah, it's like you still have to teach the other cultures, the other international cultures, and you also want people to be around those cultures so then they're more comfortable when they come into a meeting or they come into a setting. Because a lot of people, I think, they become nervous about different things and don't experience things. Just like if you in a hometown like East St. Louis, they might not go over to St. Louis. St. Louis might not come over to East St. Louis. But then it's like if we open it up, we go back and forth. So you have to be able to, because culture is like basically home. Like culture, that's what culture is. Culture, that's what it is. It's not as exclusive as somebody might think, especially now in Black America. Like, because we are not all the same. I'm telling you, if somebody Black comes to my house, they may do things totally different than I would at their house. Like, I always used to tell my students the ketchup and the mustard. Some people keep it in the cabinet, some people keep it in the refrigerator, even though it says keep it in the refrigerator. That's what happens. Some people keep those things separately. If you go to a Jamaican home is going to teach you something differently than an American home. An Ethiopian home is going to be different from a Jamaican home. I was so happy when we went to an Ethiopian restaurant and we were able to eat off the same plate. I was like, what the hell? But then there's another culture that is like a Middle Eastern culture that does the same thing.
How do they ever do that?
It's like they put a big plate on the table and everybody just stick their hands in there and eat. That's it. We'll go one day. It's one in St. Louis. But yeah, so it's like that's just how life is. Like, so I feel like, yeah, you have to know more so that you also influence your children with vocabulary, and you influence your children with like different it's just like a fluster of like different things that your children will be influenced by. The other thing is that you have to know that the American culture is the stillest culture out there as far as vocabulary goes. Like, they have really short words, like those are Caucasian words, like white American words, and then other cultures have words that have like Latin, they have Greek pronunciation, like, so it's like also that, like, so that your child can be rich in vocabulary and different things like that. And travel is very important too. So even though I feel like, yeah, school could be predominantly Black, but at the same time, you want to offer all those different riches of what other people have to offer, because that also gives them more information about the world, so that then therefore whatever businesses they create, they are still able to create those in their community, and then also maybe make trades and different things like that too. So I hear y'all. I hear you. And a lot of stuff does come from Africa too, but what I'm saying, man, I hear y'all, but I'm still with different cultures because I love it. Like, it's just something great about that. It is just something awesely great about it. So anyway, yeah, this is out to David Banner. Shouts out to you. At first I wasn't gonna reply, but I'm like, I'm gonna reply because I hear you, but it's a world of goodness out there. It really is. And it's Black people in every culture. So to do that, it's like you denying people of a whole lot of stuff. Like you denying them of a whole lot of culture, a whole lot of enrichment, especially since it's Black people in every culture. It's not right. Anyway, smooches to everybody today, and please have a great day. Again, it's Shantae, Brown Sugar Talks under Black Unicorns. Have a good day. Bye.